But Kai'Sa being very popular, we saw in the championships last night, actually, that Kai'Sa was a huge pick, going AP as well, kind of that AP Varus style as well. So Xin Zhao might be something that I might see from the jungle being banned out. And then the other two would be Graves and Trundle that you might see being picked up.
Look at that. There's that Xin Zhao, like you said. Pretty much should expect to see Graves. Maybe Trundle can fall through, but Zoe has been another thing that's pretty much been pick or banned. We finally got to see it not banned just last series, and it was really powerful. Even though Baylor weren't able to get the W, it was still such a great pick with how much it could just assassinate anybody.
Well, it's the fact that she has no hard counters to her in lane, so she can pretty much do whatever she wants very freely. Doesn't really have that hard of a punishment. But another thing that was very big in that last series was the Sejuani, so it could be a possibility for that one. Caitlyn was actually banned away. That's something that we might bring up. And then there's the Sejuani as well.
And then Ezreal left open. I was about to say the Caitlyn ban pretty much signifies to me that Ezreal is going to be the first pickup because that's really the only thing that can truly bully him in lane.
Yep.
So it makes sense that UNT wants to ban away the Caitlyn because they wanted to first pick Ezreal.
Yeah, and it's something that when you see the Ezreal being picked up, it also doesn't really reveal any sort of necessary supports that he needs either. So it is very flexible for them to kind of keep it a mystery in the bottom lane. Nautilus being grabbed up.
Interesting.
That's a nice flex pack, though.
So it is, because it can go jungle, it can go top, it can go support. I mean, I'd more likely expect top or support, but we actually have been seeing the Nautilus support coming back into the meta. People have been really liking just the hook mechanics, and Lucian, another thing, because he's not really reliant on crit as much as some of the other people. He can be a little bit stronger early game wanting to go for these duels.
Yeah, and it's something that also the Essence Reaver buff, the change that happened, because it's not a critical strike item anymore, and the ultimate passive that it does, increasing his 30% attack speed bonus after he's done channeling his culling. Something that's very helpful for him later on in those trades of those team fights. Shen and Karma being picked up. So Karma could be a flex. You could see her mid possibly and try and save it for a second support. But with the Ezreal, it kind of shows that she'll just be in that bot side.
That's just such a strong lane. So much poke. I mean, you can use the Mantra Q to help clear out the wave, so that way he can just easily auto-attack them down. But the Lulu pickup coming in from UTA also can be a flex pick. We have been seeing it get its resurgence back into mid lane lately. I mean, it's been more support, but it has been coming a little bit more and more into that mid lane role.
And it's something that kind of, when Zed starts coming out in solo queue and starts to become very popular, Lulu comes back into the meta because she denies assassination potential. So, again, something that would be very popular and kind of synergizes fairly well with the Nautilus and also against the Shen, so it kind of helps people stay away from the AD carry, especially the short range of Lucian. We have those bans coming out as well. You had Graves and Swain and then Jax taken away.
I almost wonder if we're going to see the Trundle being banned, but it's still open. So both teams can go for that. I mean, Skarner's left open, Olaf as well. There's so much that either squad can get if they want to go for something that's a little bit more tank. They already have the Shen for UNT, the Nautilus for UTA, so they have a front line, but always adding that extra one, especially with the Trundle and how powerful it is. It's a great pickup from UTA.
Well, I think the reason why they were Northern Texas wasn't going to be trying to ban the Trundle away is because I feel they're a little bit confident already with it. They think that they can peel it away. It's fairly easy to sort of kite it, especially with that Ezreal Karma combo, but it is still going to get picked up, can still tear down Shen fairly quickly, and it could kind of be that additional flex once again. It could go to the top lane and try and deal with the Shen. However, Rek'Sai being grabbed up again for the jungle here. I think this is actually the first time we've seen Rek'Sai jungle being taken here in this weekend here at DreamHack.
Yeah, and so then something that's also just interesting is we look at Rek'Sai, and it's been coming a little bit more into meta. Over in the LPL during the Demacia Cup, they actually had that almost a full-on ban in the finals because it's just been slowly becoming one of those things that's really strong into Trundle, really strong into Graves, and can start tracking their movements. But I want to talk about this last pickup, Ziggs coming in for UTA.
I was looking at the Israel Tarek. Because that's happening. So the Karma Flex did actually come through and land up, so they'll have that double support to help him sort of kite a little bit more. But to go back to what you were mentioning, the Ziggs in the mid lane, very interesting here because it can kind of deal with that harass by being that long-range sort of pushing champion in the laning phase. And then for the rest of it, though, I feel like Karma can still deal with him fairly easily. But you do have to keep an eye on that. It is now a double support composition, but they're relying very heavily on an Ezreal who is kind of infamous for not being able to deal with tanks efficiently.
This is true. I mean, that's kind of why you sometimes see that Blade of the Ruined King become like their 4th item for Ezreal, but that is a lot of scaling you have to rely on. You have to say, okay, Ezreal, we got to make it to the end game. You have to first win this lane that's going to be very difficult. Lucian and Lulu into Ezreal Taric. It was pretty nice when you had the Karma matchup, but you're not going to have the poke that you can provide onto a Lulu or a Lucian. All you have is disengage from Dazzle.
Yeah, and looking now with the full compositions that we have, there's a lot of different win conditions that I'm seeing for both teams in their own rights. Like, you have the Shen with the split push. It is Nautilus top, so it might be a little bit easier for him to actually be of a power pick in its own right. And it just, for me, it just brings a big red flag up in the fact that if Shen starts getting a strong laning phase and actually comes out on top, Nautilus will have to force those full 5v5 engagements. So it is a 4-1 versus 5v5 composition here for UNT and UTA.
Yeah, and then also I do like one thing you were starting to talk about is the Nautilus into the Shen.
Yeah.
Just you can stop him from actually going in. Sure, he can provide the shield, but as long as you're able to get a good dredge line or even go just with the ult, stop him from really being able to engage into the full 5v4 situation that UNT want to set up.
Definitely. So we'll have to be seeing how the mid lane goes as well, because it is very situational, I'd say, because of the fact that, again, I mentioned Ziggs does have that strong pushing potential. You have the fact that Karma can actually chase him down very quickly with the movement speed coming in from her shields. And then something else is in this camera that I do not know came from.
Well,
was there a Teemo passive that you have or anything?
You know, it's a possibility. We decided, hey, you know what, guys? It's the last cast of the day. Why don't we make it a nice little tri-cast?
I like it.
Let's
Why
have
not,
some
right?
fun.
I like it.
I'm willing for, let's make this last grudge match pretty awesome. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit awkward, though, because I'm stuck between two really good play-by-play casters.
It's okay. It's okay.
And
Well, don't worry. Now he kind of turns into a color.
now he's going to go adaptive color. Oh,
Now
no,
you and him talk a
we
lot, and
talk
I
a
just
lot.
talk sometimes.
We
we're
ignore
going to
him.
have a lot of fun then.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
this
guys
is
can
great.
like talk crap about me in front of my face.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, I'd never do that. Just
Never?
in
Are
all
you sure?
chat. Just
Never?
in all
Just-
chat.
oh, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
It's when
So
it's when you're wanting to play the AD carry when he wants to play Jen.
Yep.
but you just want to play Jin. You don't
I just
care
wanna
where it
play Jhin.
is.
Yep, just
You'll
anywhere.
play him in the jungle.
I will do that. Talia's in the jungle, apparently.
Yeah.
Why can't
Wait,
Jhin?
is that actually a thing?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
actually been
something.
becoming a thing. Some
Oh
people have been
my.
playing
Yeah.
that without it's changed. I don't
Man.
recommend that for anyone here. Please don't do that because then I have to tell
Well,
someone that he was
and
right.
that I don't even understand because you know her Q just got nerfed. You don't have the AOE anymore on the damage.
Actually, it's because it's single target and doesn't have.
Yep.
Make a difference in your community, serving part-time in the Army National Guard.
Reduce damage to monsters. That's why it's actually become a thing. If you look at the patch and how it changed,
Ooh.
that's why she's
That
actually
is
not wave
tricky.
clearing that well into the mid lane. She can't take the minions out as well because she's not getting a whole spread
Ooh.
about a damage. She's just getting it onto one target. So blue buff, Gromp, red buff, gone.
Same with Rift Scuttle, too.
Rift Scuttle too, and that's the most
That's
important.
spicy.
That's the most
Yeah.
important too.
Either way. Well, looks like we're going to go ahead and get into the game here, guys, quite shortly once we actually sort out. You guys are going to have to fill me in a little bit on the compositions because we were just getting this mic sorted out the last second here. I'm pretty excited. I'm excited.
So one
yeah.
thing that we didn't really get to talk about, I kind of wanted to talk about, you really want to talk about Ezreal and Tark, but I want to talk about this matchup with Ziggs into Karma, because that's a lot of poke coming in from both sides where they just kind of want to stay on the outskirts, but with Karma having shields into Ziggs, she can absorb a lot of the poke that can come in from a Ziggs. She can survive this laning phase and try to see if she can just become that second support like you were mentioning.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's, again, I think a lot of the jungle attention is going to have to be brought into that middle lane. But again, the safety is something that does bring that red flag up where it's like, okay, maybe we'll just go ahead and try and deal with the top lane, get one of those tanks ahead. And for University of North Texas, if you get that Shen going split pushing and Nautilus can't deal with him, it's going to cause a problem.
Yeah, and that can be quite annoying to have to deal with, but you do have those teleports available. Nautilus is a great answer when a Shen is teleporting across just because of that ultimate. You hit level 6, he can be such a disruptor, and it looks like we're actually maybe going to have some action as we've actually swapped sides yet again like we saw during.
Yeah, there's a ward on this blue buff too. So over on the side of UTA, they know
Oh.
that UNT went for this invade. They're sitting right
Oh
on top of it.
my.
We're about to have a fight.
Come on, please. If they go down the one direction, I'm real. No!
Oh,
Come on!
no.
So close.
So close.
These teams are mind readers, man.
Well, you have to look at the level 1 compositions for both of these teams. They have the information, which is the great part for the side of UNT, because they can actually start dissecting and figuring out, okay, who's going to be able to actually win these trades. You look over at the side of UTA, they have so much more level 1 potential with the Nautilus lockdown, Lucian burst on his passive, Ziggs AoE on the Q-bombs. Like, they would win that fight, so it was smart for University of North Texas to go ahead and just take that one away.
The one thing I don't like is that UTA actually didn't put a ward down onto this red buff, so they're not even sure that Alpha Lamb started onto the red buff. They'd assume so with how they're positioned, but you could always say that you're going to go for the flex, just go right to the blue buff so you can go from blue and just dissect the jungle more vertically than you would go for the horizontal kind of split.
Yep.
Well, for now, both junglers going to start on the bot side. Looks like it's just going to be a full clear, though, from Antenzo on the Trundle. Meanwhile, Elferlearn decided to go up towards his blue bluff immediately. Was not 100% sure where the start was going to be coming out from. They now only just spotted out the Trundle, now going up.
Yeah, and you just have to keep an eye on these jungle paths here. Who is going to be able to look for these Rift Scuttles first? We're having the Noodle fight in the top lane. This is still very important on this top side of the map. Yes, it's a big Noodle fight, but it is very influential on the momentum of this game later on.
See, Life needed to really go for the Corrupting Pot when going in for the Dredge line, because lost out on a big amount of that trade, and this gives Shen the priority into the lane. You get the Corrupting Pot so you can be a little bit more aggressive, sure, you're a little bit safer, but into Shen, you need to start bullying him as Nautilus. So you have a lot of base damage that can scale with just the shields that you can provide and the Dredge line.
I can already see in this matchup, Life is so short, is actually having quite the difficulty. That's going to be the taunt landing on top of it. One auto could finish him off. No flash, though, going to come out from N3O. Almost the first blood.
And that's the fact that the Q coming in from the Shen, that maximum % health damage with those additional strikes, as well as the dodge coming in from the W, can cause some trading issues for that Nautilus on the top side. You have to look at Ocean Drake as well, see if these junglers are going to decide to try and create that pressure. And it's actually great here for the side of bottom end here for UTA, having this early game dominance.
And it'd be nice also to get this Ocean Drake quite early on, because you're going against an Ezreal, you're going against a Karma. There's lots of poke in that kit that while they're trying to siege, it'd be great to have the regen later.
All right, so right now, we're looking over towards how the junglers are kind of pathing, and Trundle right now for Tenzo is making sure to try to see if he can secure the Scuttle Crab on the bottom side of the map, because they already lost it on the top side, and you need to make sure you're not falling too far behind in the XP that Scuttle now provides with the chains that came in. It's a really powerful thing you have to fight over, which is why Rek'Sai tends to be so strong, she can take it so quickly.
Still so. No early blood just yet. We almost saw it up in that top lane. The Shen almost picking off a solo kill underneath the tower. Actually ended up going back before the Nautilus there, just picking up an extra longsword.
You also have to be looking here for this mid lane right now and the mana sustain that's happening. Ziggs has been throwing out so many Qs that it actually might be a huge issue for him unless he is able to go ahead and recall. He does not have teleport though, so Tank Top Chad on Karma is going to be able to play it safe, go back and get some items.
And that's just kind of how this matchup is going to go for Ziggs. He wants to shove out Karma, but it's so difficult, which is why you have to just poke out and do what you can until you can get that lost chapter so you can get a little bit more of your mana back. So Sea-Dog has to wait. Karma is really powerful in the early game because she can get the Mantra Q. She has access to that ult already and can clear out the waves a little bit faster than Sea-Dog with a little bit less mana expunge.
Life is so short. You guys were expecting this Nautilus to be the one that was able to harass the Shen, but so far, I got to give it to Enthro. He's been playing the matchup beautifully. In mid lane, you did see a little bit of aggression coming out there from Sea-Dog. Wanted to walk up. Tank Top, though, has the help of the Rek'Sai.
Well, when I was talking about that matchup on the top side of the map, it's Nautilus and the fact that he can deny the Shen roams with the amount of crowd control that he can provide. In a one-on-one matchup, Ethero definitely has the benefit because of the trading that Shen has against tanks of his own right. But if the fact that if Antenzo does some tangential, but bot
yeah, Lou a little bit risky there, almost got caught out. They landed the stun onto Tankstia, but they were still losing out on that trade. UTA still can play aggressive.
Yeah, this actually is just how this bot lane's going to go. We already talked about it. It's more of an indication from the supports of the range into the melee matchup, Lulu into Taric, where you kind of favored this Lulu. Plus, it's Lucian. He likes to brawl a little bit more. He's really strong into these kind of 2v2, 1v1 scenarios.
And the thing is, though, with Taric in that bottom side of the map, he has actually a lot of strong trading potential early on because of his passive.
True.
If he's able to get a long-range dazzle onto Lucian or onto Lulu, they can do a lot in a very small amount of time and be able to get the lead back in their favor.
Well, that's the problem. You have to get onto Illusion with a Lulu to give Whimsy. It's so difficult because you can telegraph the Dazzle so easily. So really, you only expect these kind of minor things, and then the shields to keep Lulu so safe. You saw how little can actually be done by the bot lane of UNT.
I find it interesting that we actually have seen Lulu kind of pop up today as much as she has, because, you know, she's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit recently, but having those shields, having that movement speed can really help you out in an already mobile lane. Here comes the Trundle down from the river. Teleport going to come in for a response, and now UTA, they have to make a decision. They're looking to back off, but the Rek'Sai is coming around the corner, and the Shen, the Stand United, first blood in the bot lane coming on down for UNT.
And that was a great performance there coming in from UNT, smelling out the gank that was coming from Trundle on Tenzo, and then being able to reply perfectly with the teleport from, I believe there's the Shen there, and now he has hit level 6, so he can always do that again.
Well, that's the thing with the composition drafted by UNT. You have Stand United on the Shen. You can teleport with Karma. You can have all 5 members go rotate all together and go for a counter gank like that just happened in the bot lane for Arlington, where they thought they had the advantage. They're winning these trades. They're getting onto Lu and doing so much damage, but the problem is they didn't really have the knowledge and the ability to stop both Karma and Shen from joining.
And Enthro in this matchup is doing beautifully on top of using the Stand United, landing these taunts yet again. Life So Short is forced underneath his tower. He's getting himself a little bit of a farm advantage even after not being in the lane during that gank.
And that's because he really wants this lane dominance here in this top side of the map. He used his teleport to get back into that lane to deny, and here's Tank Top Chad to see if they can just shove Life So Short away from this turret and possibly get some more harass on him.
They do pop the rune there as they're able to get a little bit of a damage on down. The Mantra Q going to connect, but it's not enough. Tank Top just going to go back into his wave. The only issue about going into that Ziggs Sea-Dog is just going to be in that lane farming for days.
So now we got to really kind of focus on how Tank Top Chad's been going for these roams, going for these ganks with the entire team. You're leaving a Ziggs alone in mid. And that is a dangerous thing to do because how quickly he can take down these turrets. Look at the gold bleed that he's getting from the CS, and probably going to be able to start chipping on these
Wow, that's a nice, beautiful flash taunt combo coming on through. Can they actually finish him off? Heal was blown, but down in bot lane, the Dazzle's going to connect, and there is no flash for this Lucian. Fizzle going to go ahead and pick up the kill. Alpha learning, what are you doing between the towers? Sea-Dog trying his best. They turn it around at mid lane.
What in the world just happened right there? See, it looked like it was going really well for UNT in the bot lane because they were able to get the double kills on to both Starrett and onto the Teksta, but the problem was the mid lane was going for a dive onto Sea-Dog underneath 2 turrets.
And that was something that I was just so caught off guard by, you and me both, in the fact that for the side of University of Northern Texas, great job on that bottom side. You knew the summoners, good on you. But for Alpha Learn and for Etherno, I like the fact that Etherno's being so active on the map, but when you're not communicating with your team with positioning on what you're trying to decide, it's like, okay, we went a little bit too far in, we need to go ahead and call back, and then you get that greed in your eyes because of the fact that you did do such a good gank in that bottom side of the map. That's what was able for them to actually fall in and actually get caught out between those turrets.
And for UTA, this is really important. Look where the kills are. They're onto this Trundle already early on. That allows him just to get the ball rolling. We all know what happens with a fed Trundle.
But at the same time, when Trundle is the one getting the kills, not Ziggs or Lucian, the one you want the kills is Lucian, because he's going to need to get some of these items so he can be that bully into this mid game.
Yeah, but look at the item he's going for first. It's into the Blade of the Ruin King. So that actually gives me a big red flag at the moment because it only provides you, I believe, 40 attack damage and then that unique passive. And sure, the attack speed is nice and means you can go like Ninja Tabby or something, but it does mean that you're actually going to be lacking into this mid-game phase.
And you're not necessarily going against all these tanks. It's only a Shen, and it's just the Taric. You want to be doing damage onto that Ezreal, onto that Karma. You'd like to go the crit route.
It's really true. I would have wanted to not even just see the crit route, maybe go for the Essence Reaver. Just get that a little bit earlier than you might normally get, but now we're getting another fight. That
is going to be the Taric ultimate taken on down. The Dazzle's not going to connect. Teleport's coming on through, though. Alpha Learn is here. Knockup going to follow on through onto the Ziggs, and that is just going to be enough to pick up the kill, but here comes that fed Trundle we were talking about earlier. Alpha Learn gets taken on down, though, by the Lucian, and boom, the AD carry finally gets those kills we were looking for.
And double kills onto Lucian as well. That's the member you were wanting to get these on. I just mentioned that if he gets kills, he gets some gold, he's going to be really effective.
And this means that even though he will be able to complete that Blade of the Ruin King in time, it will help them in the long game here. And now pushing on. If they were able to get this first tier turret, this is going to be great news for them.
Oh no, life is so short though. Gets stunned underneath the tower as the minions
Oh.
died. And that's enough with the help of the turret to pick up the kill.
Oh my goodness, terrible, terrible turn of events for them. Luckily, it was only one death. They were able to get a good amount of damage, but right now they're sitting just underneath a 2,000 gold deficit, which for them, they're still playing that uphill battle.
Exactly. And into Lou on Ezreal. He's the one who got a kill. Second kill for this Ezreal. Going for the tier of the goddess, trying to get to that Triforce as well as quickly as possible. You talk about the mid game of Illusion. Well, there's now the late game of this double tier build coming in from Ezreal. That's going to be a little bit sooner.
Oh, and they're going to try and pick up a kill if they can, but a nice double dazzle is going to connect. Physical is able to stay alive for so long during this fight. Elferlearn is going to come on over, trade back a kill, using the ultimate, wants to find their prey, and they're able to pick up all 3 kills underneath the tower.
And amazing work there once
Oh
again
my.
from University of North Texas. Making a 3-0 for Ezreal here. Watch out for that Sea-Dog though.
Yeah, Sea-Dog, he has the ultimate coming up in just a couple of seconds. Can he actually land the target? True shot barrage with the knock-up. That's going to find themselves a kill.
Really nice turnaround coming in from UNT to make sure that they get another kill. Sea-Dog really thought he had the damage into that situation, but you have to land the skill shots as a Ziggs, and now you just gave over another kill to Ezreal.
Yeah, absolutely debated there. Sea-Dog unfortunately making it 0-3 now for himself, which just drives him back even farther behind, which he really needs to hit these important item spikes to really become a threat in this game. And he's still only sitting on a Lost Chapter and Sorcerer's Shoes, so for him, he's going to be so late on this Luden's Echo.
See, and while this has looked a little bit close with how some of the fights have kind of transitioned, it has still been more on the side of UNT being the ones who are the recipients of a lot of gold. They're getting the item leads just slowly but surely. The Blade of the Ruin King into the Manamune is going to be heavily in favor of UNT, and like I said, components compared to the Luden's Echo over for tank top Chad.
Life so short, still taking that harass from this Shen as that CS lead is starting to grow more and more now, creeping closer to 30. Tank top Chad gonna go ahead, pick up his blue buff for himself so he can try and go toe-to-toe with this Ziggs that's just looking to clear out waves. Taunt gonna land on through. Life is so short, might have to blow his flash, ends up using the ultimate. There's the summoner.
And for me right now, thinking for UTA, it's like, okay, how do we get back into this game? I feel like they actually need to start creating some forcement for the side of Life So Short to just get him out of that lane. He's struggling so hard in this matchup against Eterno Shen, and he needs to start getting into 5v5 scenarios, start communicating with him, and be able to bring that crowd control that you need.
And that's the one thing that's really nice about Nautilus, is the fact that you don't have to necessarily win the lane, you just have to survive. But right now, he is not surviving, he is starting to drown, so he needs some help. A good rotation, maybe send Lucian and Lulu top lane so they can try to get a tower in response, because they're probably going to lose top and bot if they don't.
See Lou, they're already landing those Mystic shots. Here comes Antenzio once again on the Trundle, 3-1 and 2. They were able to finally get a kill onto that Lucian in the mid lane, though. Elferlearn is just abusing Sea-Dog on this Ziggs. Ultimate coming on out, and the tanking coming through from top Chad. That is a perfect dive.
This time around, they learned their lesson. They realized that they just needed to make sure they got more damage onto Ziggs before they go for the dive, because they finished him, and now we're getting another trade in the box.
Oh, that was a nice dodge there coming out from Antenzio. Ended up using the flash, though. It was actually a Karma coming on down. Maybe he expected the Shen, because really, top Chad, he did not have that much health.
Currently, you can just see the amount of focus in this bottom side of the map here for UNT, which is great. This is what they needed to do. We were talking about the big sort of problem with no damage.
Well, that's going to be the taunt landing into the knock-up, and Life is so short. Ended up using his flash just a minute ago, so great communication coming in from N3O to make sure his team realizes the potential of taking down that Nautilus.
Was really smart from them as well, because they knew how low that tower was already from Eterno. They already had gotten it so low, might as well get the kill, pad your team with gold. They're already sitting at a 6,000 gold lead at 15 minutes into the game.
Well, you see, though, UTA isn't playing as though they're behind. They're going to go for the kill. Gets it before the Tarek ultimate comes on down. Ignite ticking away. Going to force the summoner out of the Tarek.
And now they have to force even more right now. They're so far behind that really they won't be able to come back unless they create some some kind of engagement. Ocean Drake is a great idea here to create some survivability here for Nautilus in the top side of the map.
Well, see, I also think that there's a lot of greed coming in from the side of UNT. That play right there pretty much sold it for me. They were trying to go for the tower. They're trying to see if they can get more gold into their pockets when they didn't need to. They could have easily sent Lou and Physical back. Just let them be safe. Instead, they tried to get as much damage onto the turret and were way overextended in that situation.
Well, UTA, sure they're using a lot, but it still feels like they're almost playing on even ground. They have that confidence to go for these plays. The Trundle's been making a lot of appearances in that bot lane. The Lucian is getting fed, and we can see in a little bit of adjustment. Already picked up that Bork, but now going the BF line.
Yeah, and it's due to the fact that they actually have a really good composition that has strong base stats for sort of skirmishing in this mid-game phase. You have that Ezreal, which is that very reliant damage source that UNT has been doing wonderfully playing around, as a matter of fact. He already has the 2 components for the Triforce, is just waiting on that final third. And they know that he hasn't hit that Trinity Force power spike. They can try to force some engagements and get Lucian back into this game.
Interesting enough, Antenzio, once again, these lane ganks on the Trundle have been rather annoying on the side of UNT, but from behind, Alpha Lurn wants to try and go for the fight. Sea-Dog once again is stuck, gets his ultimate on down. They're able to fight him, but look at all the low health bars on the side of UTA, as Eternio has joined in on the fight with the Stand United, and life is so short. It was just a little too late to the party, it would seem, and Lou is going to be able to survive.
That was a beautiful flank coming in from Shen as well. Sure, Rek'Sai died. They lost Lurn pretty quickly, not able to get the assassination because the heal from Starred was able to keep him alive. But the fact that the Shen has been so far ahead this entire game made it so that he was enough of a damage threat.
And it also, with that very delayed teleport coming in from life so short on that Nautilus, the situation of it being a 5v4 just turned into a 4v4 to the fact that Sea-Dog died so quickly in that fight, and it allowed Tank Top Chad in the mid lane to get a lot of damage on that turret and be able to take this third one for the side of UNT.
Well, and keep in mind, that fight, Sea-Dog didn't have the Luden's Echo he has now. He was that far behind in gold that he's just able to get it. He has been struggling to keep up with Tank Top Chad, who's now going for that Athene's Unholy Grail to just make sure that they can keep people alive.
And for me, I kind of find that a little bit confusing because Sea-Dog, he's on Ziggs, is one of the safest champions. You can just sit in a lane and farm up. Sure, they've been able to dive him, but even then, maybe he should be calling for a little bit of assistance from the Trundle because Antenzio, he spent so much time now in this bot lane that the other lanes have suffered.
And I think it's due to the fact they just aren't keeping track of their own laners and even the jungler respectively. They've had the vision in the bottom side of the map for some scenarios to come out, but even then, due to the fact that Sea-Dog can play safe, if you don't have the vision and communication, it's not much else to work with.
Life is so short. He should have got the memo because the rest of the team is just leaving. Targ Ultimate going to come on down to 4 members of UNT. UTA cannot do anything about this.
That was a really good catch coming in from UNT, making sure that they got life so short, and now they can turn instantly towards that Rift Herald, so they can start getting towards these tier 2 towers, but they will lose the mid in a trade war.
But if you look toward the minimap, you can see just there's a lack of vision from UTA because life is so short. He decided to go for that fight, even though there were 4 members just around the corner. They just don't have the knowledge to go for this.
That's the problem that I've been trying to mention with the Sea-Dog problem in this middle lane, is that when you don't have the vision and information to communicate where their team is going to be rotating, you're going to have to deal with things like this, where there are 15 kills to your 7 and almost 10,000 gold.
But right there, they knew that they could pop the Rift Herald quickly to take down that tier 2 because they saw Starred and Tenzio backing on wards. You look at the control wards that are in that river. They knew the positioning coming in from UTA, so of course it's an easy tower take for them. Well, they're not going to be able to get much more. They're getting more and more gold. They jump up to an almost 8k gold lead at 20 minutes.
Shelly's going to go ahead, return to the Void. Did her job, though. Picked up that second tier tower. 4-1 turret totals. 20 minutes now on the clock. 15-7 the kills. UNT with an 8,000 gold advantage, and it's just going to keep on growing.
Oh, that is just horrible there for Tanks there on the Lulu, getting caught out. Just trying to get some kind of vision. You need that partner now to even ward in your own jungle. Terrible news for the side of UTA.
You get caught out when the Baron spawns up, when the wards are already being placed by UTA, so you can easily die.
And Tenzio, he gets the Ignite ticking away, is able to survive with the help of the heal, and the rest of the team following on through. Alpha Lurn, a little bit of miscommunication maybe with his shed, but top tank Chad is playing like a Chad because he is able to pick up another kill on this Karma.
Oh my goodness, that's all you need though from the side of UNT to make those attempts on the siege. You deny any utility that would have been coming through. You got the kill onto Lulu, which means you can go ahead and siege, you can go and dive, find another kill, and that leads you to Baron.
The worst thing for UTA is all this happened with a power spike from UNT. Just come online. Finish the Muramana. Get the Triforce onto Ezreal. Look over towards Tank Top Chata, having the Lunans and the Athenes. Right now, the lineup of UNT are so far ahead of UTA that even if they try to defend a tower, they will be dove and die.
So more UNT gonna go back to the base with a 21-minute Baron. An 11,000 gold lead, 17-7 UTA. It's starting to look a little bit dire. What's the game plan? What do they have to do to try and fight their way back?
They need to get their vision back into their favor here. For their jungle specifically, they have the wave clear luckily for Ziggs. He has the Ludoon's Echo and at least one needlessly large rod to really deal with any minor small waves of Baron buffed minions. But there's no banner of command either that they need to worry about on the side of UNT, so all they have to do, again, keep that vision control and turtle it up.
Completely agree with you, Coco. They need to turtle up with it. I will say, there's a problem with that strategy. When you're against an Ezreal, who is going for a Blade of the Ruin King before actually getting it, going for the Archangel Staff, you're already having a lot of problems. This means that's how far ahead this Ezreal is. The fact that he doesn't have to itemize towards the double tier just yet. He can just get the tier of the goddess, start stacking that up, and then get the Blade of the Ruin King to cut through you because you're so far ahead. Right now, UTA, they need to get a beautiful pick if they want to get into this game because, honestly, I can't imagine that UNT are just going to lose a fight.
We see Sea-Dog's going to roam up toward the top lane, but against those Baron Top minions, he's not as effective at clearing them out. Even on top of that, he's behind so far in his items there where he would like to be at this point. Still, Siege coming on through for UNT, and life is so short, he might be cutting it a little close.
And you can see already the 4-1 composition of University of Northern Texas working wonderfully here with the Baron buff. Shen split pushing two side lanes pretty much on his own, while the utility of the rest of the team is just going to be whittling away against the health bars of UTA.
Plus, right now, UNT are just trying to make sure they take out all these outer towers. They're going to look for a dive any moment here. They know that they have the power to actually get down this Nautilus, who is not very tanky.
Well, that's the power of that Tarek ultimate. If you want to make the play, you want to make the call, you want to go underneath the tower, you easily can.
Hold on
here we go.
here.
It's going to go again. Here it is. Finally, you do see that Tarek ultimate coming on down, but it's more reactionary. Realizing game, you don't want to overstep or bounce because look at top lane. And 3-0 on the Shen is just whacking away at the tower.
And that's the problem right there. They thought they had the pick. It looked good at first, but you cannot actually fight into the Tarek until you know the Cosmic Radiance is down. And because they went for that, they were able to get the top and bottom.
And just a reminder, the turrets, both the inhibitors and the Nexus, got nerfed in their base health. The 3,300, 300 less health now on the inhibitor turrets, and then I believe it's 900 less health on the Nexus.
But look at the damage even coming out from just the Shen alone. Maybe overstepped his bounds a little, but that is scary when he can have health to your Lucian.
See, I don't even know if that's necessarily that bad that he gave his life for that, because he's forcing Lucian to go back or stay in this with half his health, and then you can have your rest of your teammates just start escorting these super minions that are going to be spawning up, get them into the base of UTA, so you can start flexing a little bit more of your muscle. Then once Shen gets back in, stand united, win the fight.
Well, UNT, it looks like they're just satisfied taking the two inhibitors. Mid lane tower still remains. And that will be their last lane to crack open the base if they really want to cause just chaos. 13,000 gold, 17-8. It's looking a little dire, guys.
And you can definitely see that gold discrepancy, not in just the AD carries, but also in the supports as well. You already have a Locket of the Iron Solari there on Tarek. Lulu is still running for an Ardent Sensor, if not a redemption here at the moment, and he's already going to be trying to complete his third item on getting physical here on Tarek. So for the rest of the team now, it's just a ticking time bomb until those Nexus turrets fall.
There's really no way for UTA to actually get into the lineup of UNT. Got walk into the Iron Solar, like you were mentioning on physical, you have the Undead's Unholy Grail, then you also have things to kind of cut down some of the healing. The Morella Nomicon coming in, get through the tankiness with the Blade of the Ruin King, and then just to top it all off, you have a Knight's Vow onto Rek'Sai, so you're really going to have your carries be the tanks.
And speaking of the Rek'Sai, I kind of like the adaptation here for Alpha Learn. Instead of going that little bit more attack damage, oh my, the mystical shot damage, True Shot Barrage, just a little bit over to the right. But this build path for Alpha Learn allows him just to act as an engager and be another tank to soak up damage.
And that's what you need out of that Rek'Sai, the fact that you can create that minor amount of crowd control in those fights that can cause havoc. And she still has an immense amount of physical damage to help shred those down, but when your Ezreal's so far ahead, you don't even need it.
Right now, UTA are literally at death's door. They are getting pushed in. All their inhibitors are down, and when you give open your third one for free, you have to go for a fight.
And this might be it. UTA, they need to stand their ground, but it's crumbling underneath their feet as the rest of the base is now starting to get slaughtered. Alpha Learn in the background. Dazzle is going to land onto multiple members, and they are just running for the fountain to safety. Maybe a possible turnaround is possible, but the Dazzle connects onto 3 members. Alpha Learn, he's so tanky on this Rek'Sai, and with the Warmonks, they can just look to reach him, but it looks like UTA have not been able to finish it off.
Right now, it looks like over for the side of UTA, they were able to fend off the attack a little bit, but that was more the greed of UNT. They wanted to pad their KDAs, they wanted to get these kills instead of just ending the game.
Ooh.
They got both of the Nexusers, almost got the snipe onto Sea-Dog right there, but one more push is going to be the successful end for UNT.
But you got to keep track of those timers for those inhibitors. When you take down an inhibitor, it is 5 minutes of super minions coming in through that lane.
And it's double now.
It's double now, and I believe with the timers, it's only a 1 minute discrepancy between those inhibitors falling. So for them, it is 4 minutes of double super minions. Minions coming through every single lane, and with how far they are behind, I don't know if they can even deal with it.
Plus, the Baron spawning up in 50 seconds, so you just wait your time if you don't want to go for the all-in, but I really don't think that UNT has to wait. They can easily just send everyone into the base and take down the Nexus right now.
Well, they're up by 14,000 gold. All they need to do is score 1 minion wave, go for another fight, because guess what? We've talked about it before, that Taric ultimate. It's the go button. If they want to take a fight, they have the tools necessary.
So right now, just seeing if UNT decides to go ahead and get the full out clean victory, a Baron to be on top of that with the destroyed inhibitors in every single lane, and it looks like that's what they're going to go ahead and decide for.
I respect the macro play coming in from UNT just to show that they know how to play it into a team that might be able to fight back. They weren't able to successfully get these kills into the fountain of UTA, so they're just like, let's get the Baron buff. We already have the super minions. Once we have that, we actually don't even need to kill you. We just need to have the super minions do all the work for us.
UNT start up that Baron, the second one of the game. That's the safe approach to this one. Clean up the neutrals, check to make.
The world of Days Gone is breathtaking. You're not a tourist here. You're fighting to survive.
Coach happy, and then look to close out a victory in sub 30 minutes. Now making their way over toward the mid lane. We do at least have one inhibitor spawning back up, but there's still 2 more that need to come back.
Well, depending on UTA, if they're able to fend this off, they can actually wait, because both of them will spawn up very quickly. Both bot and top got taken down at relatively similar times, but that's such a
I don't think they are giving them an option, Magical, because here comes the engage once again. Targ ultimate coming on down, and it nullifies the Ziggs ultimate entirely. Next misses the target. He saw the Mantra Q coming on down. Missed the shot, finds its target. Strad wants to try and finish the kill onto the Ezreal, but he will be denied as the Nexus falls.
Did you guys see that Lulu from 3/4 health from a Mantra Q just exploded right there?
I did.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was unfortunate.
Oh my gosh.
So with
Feels
that,
bad.jpg right there.
UTA falling game 1, UNT dominating fashion, 22-9, a 15,000 gold lead to cap things off. If you're UTA, what are you looking at here? Draft, gameplay, game style?
Honestly, I don't think you draft the Nautilus. I love Nautilus, don't get me wrong, but it just didn't work in their composition. It was drafted way too early. Had they waited and gotten that in the later stages of the draft, maybe it would have paid off, but the fact that you showed it early made it so they can go for the Shen and go for that aggression in the laning phase that made that Nautilus pretty much ineffective.
Well, my problem with the Nautilus is that there's so many other champions that do his job better. Sion was there available. I believe Ornn wasn't banned either. You could have dealt with that even with the Shen. So it was just a sense of picking compositions that maybe he was comfortable on that pick, but it wasn't the best scenario for them. I liked the draft that they were aiming for, creating a full team fight composition, but they weren't able to execute it as well as the 4-1 split push that of UNT.
Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a short break, but when we come back, it's going to be game 2 between UNT and UTA. We'll have to see whether or not they can fight their way back into this series and force a game 3. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 2 between UNT and UTA. I'm Opal, joined by Coco and the Mad Lad himself, Magical. Boys, after seeing that chaotic Game 1, we're already into the draft of Game 2. What are your predictions? What's going to change?
Well, for me here, I'm thinking that I feel like UTA actually did some experimenting, some going back into the lab and be like, okay, we had a game plan. You just need to mix the little things up more in the drafting phase, and we might be able to actually take a W away from UNT.
I agree, but they also need to play a lot more towards that early game. They had tools. They had Lucian, they had Ziggs, things that should be able to win the lane pretty well. I mean, the Ziggs should shove out the Karma. Bot lane, you should see the Lucian being very bully towards the Ezreal, but they never really were able to get that. Rek'Sai, especially for UNT, was causing havoc all across the map, where Trundle never really had the impact that you expect to see out of that kind of jungler.
Yep.
Well, we can already see our bans are coming on through, and for UTA, already some adjustments being made. They said no to the Ezreal. They don't want to deal with another Taric dive composition, and they hate Zoe. Who can blame them?
You got to keep in mind what they have left open at this point. There's a lot of power picks that they can still go for. I mean, Kai'Sa not banned by either squad, so that could be a first lock-in for UTA. Whenever it's not locked in, you want to go for that, but...
All right. We said maybe do some change up here. UTA.
But they banned Taric. You can't go for the Master Yi Taric build.
Yeah, I'm about to say you can't. There is still the KO possibility.
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
But it depends if it makes it through the draft, whether or not. On the side, though, of UNT, you mentioned that Kai'Sa gets picked up, and they go again with the Trundle actually taking it away from UTA.
Yeah, which is actually pretty good, even though I feel like Trundle will have to sort of play like Graves. He's going to have to be aggressive, shut down that Master Yi, make sure he doesn't get any farm underneath his belt, so that they can come in with that upper hand with itemization advantage. We see actually Anivia is going to be picked up as well into the mid lane. So something that for UTA, it's kind of the same concept as Ziggs. You just want to keep on pushing, you want to shove that wave, and this one is actually, I'd say, a little bit more safer because of that vulnerability with the passive.
However, I don't like them showing these kind of fun picks this early into the draft. When you have Master Yi and Anivia, these are things that can be bullied, they can be targeted at to make sure that you abuse them with the picks that you go for. I mean, mid lane especially, Anivia, she's strong once she gets her ult, but before that, she can be bullied.
Yep. And for me, too, you're showing this Yi. It's not a predictable pick. It's not something that would likely get banned by the enemy team. So maybe leaving that up, getting some more, I guess, high-priority champions if you want to go for that combo we mentioned before with the possible Kale. We'll have to see. We're into our second ban round, and the Karma and the Shen, so literally 4 out of the 5 champions in UNT's comp in Game 1 off the table. UTA do not want to deal with anything that was thrown at them.
I'm a little bit surprised by that Pantheon ban, I believe, if I see correctly.
Target ban, most likely.
Yeah, most likely, but it's something that I feel like it could be of a contention into that top side of the map. They might be trying to think of something cheesy, and they're like, you know what, I don't want to deal with the Pantheon. It's a direct counter to me. Let's not have that on the table just in case. We do have that Victor being hovered over at the moment, and I don't think
it got locked in.
Yeah.
The Victor got locked in, and I actually really like that pick into Anivia because I talked about being able to bully in the lane, and Victor's great at wave clearing early and late and mid. At all points of the game, Victor is going to be able to keep up with the shove into Anivia.
Okay. We're going to get ourselves, I think, a mid lane Master Yi.
No, it's Anivia. It's got to be top lane. No, top lane Udyr.
Well, but what?
We're going to have to see him.
Or,
so
wait, no.
What's
support Anivia.
Ooh. All right. Final pickup for UNT is going to be the Jace. But let's see how UTA actually organizes themselves, because we're still not 100% sure. We'll have to see.
I'm going to be performing Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. My loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe, when I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign, hit me maybe one more time. Woo, thank you!
See here shortly.
Yeah, we can touch base on, let's just do a quick summary of UNT at the moment. You know, you got that hyper-scaling bot lane with the safe support. You got the Trundle that will be able to do a lot of aggression and do some tank stealing stats. Got Victor again, good utility in every scenario of the game. All right, we're done with that decent meta composition.
Who
Let's
needs
focus
that
on
meta
UTA.
All right, so this is where I shine. Things that
Yes.
are not meta. What can you do? I mean, if you're going Master Yi mid, right now the current flavor is to still go for like more of that attack speed, go for the damage that you want to. I mean, you can go for the AP if you really want to bring in some cheese, but I highly doubt we're going to see that. More than likely what's going to happen if you have Master Yi in mid, it will be a lot of aggression. Looking for the level 2 all-in onto Victor, try to abuse the fact that he is very immobile. He can't really get out of these situations. Easy alpha strike to clear out the wave, and then punish Victor early for being someone who cannot escape.
Hey, you know what? If Faker did it, there we go. There's the change-up we were looking for. It's going to be a Gnar up in the top lane, Udyr in the jungle, Master Yi mid lane, Zayas in the ADC role, and Nivea support.
It's just ridiculous with
I
this
love it.
composition.
I love it.
What a way to
No,
end
though.
this series here for
Well,
this stretch
okay,
match.
hey, this might be extending the series.
It
Don't
could
even
be.
start that.
Like, it's just throwing down that gauntlet. It's
It's
like,
saying,
all right,
hey.
we're going to just throw as much power as we can at you. And for me right now, as you mentioned, with the Master Yi mid, I feel like Antenso on that Udyr is just going to be focusing it because it's going to provide that crowd control to just get that extra burst.
So, Opal, Coco, game 1, UTA played the style that UNT wanted to. They went into their wheelhouse. They said, we're going to play your meta. This time around, they're changing it up, saying, you have to now play to us. You have to play into the Master Yi, Udyr, scaling into the late game. Got that Anivia support, so probably going to see a lot of stuns trying to come out when Kai'Sa is a little bit weaker in the laning phase. She's not necessarily that strong because it's a little bit harder for her to get the full stack on her passive. So there are potentials for UTA to start taking early. That way they can try to scale up into that mid to late.
And it's Anivia running Ignite. This is looking to find kills. You are, though, going through a Braum who can intercept the Q. So it's going to be a tough little bit of a lane. You might not be likely getting that Kai'Sa as easily as you would hope for, but hey, once they get level 6 on that Anivia, you just look to slow them down with that Blizzard. It's just acting as utility.
Well, yeah, and it's something that, as you look at the Braum, it's like, okay, he can block the Xayah feathers and the Anivia Q coming in as well as her spear as well. But everyone else, Gnar, Udyr, Master Yi, going to be in the front line, going to be jumping over Braum, because that hop, you could say, could just do that cheese with the hop into the Mega Gnar ultimate. But it's something for me that Udyr provides a lot of early game pressure, and changing it up to where it's not the Master Yi jungle, he might be getting it, doing the invading instead of Trundle having to.
Now, there is, we got to talk about the one matchup we kind of do know a lot about, and that's the Gnar into the Jace, where Jace is just going to bully this Gnar consistently. And that's why you pick Jace into Gnar, is because you know you're going to be able to win the lane. You're very strong early, but at the same time, I doubt we're going to see UTA want to play an early style composition outside of the bot lane. Maybe go for the level 2 early cheese kill with an Ignite on Anivia, but outside of that, they're just going to want to scale up. They don't need to go anything past level 2, 3, because sure, Master Yi, bot lane, Anivia, they can try to go for these kills early. If they don't get them, they have to wait until they get the items.
Well, guys, we're going to go ahead, load up into Game 2 between UNT, UTA. We'll see whether or not this new composition that we are still awestruck by will pay off. It can, it might, and we'll have to see if it will.
I believe.
I know you do believe.
Of course I
It's
believe.
you, man. You can believe. You believe in anything.
No, that's not true. I don't believe in anything. I just believe in a lot of cool things.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Oh, that's what I like to
All
hear,
right.
guys. I
Sounds
like
right.
to hear the cheers. Let's get into game for Game 2.
So right now, you actually see the clump up coming in from
please.
UNT. They might be looking for that invade once
Please.
again.
Oh, man, I just want to party. Oh, no,
Udyr.
Enzo doesn't know. He comes around the corner. The stun lands on through. First blood for UNT.
And UNT cheesing the cheesers already. UNT getting that invade, getting first blood onto the victor. Master Yi's going to have a little trouble because that means double Doran's rings.
All right, so now you can't go for the level 2 cheese. You have to scale up if you're a Sea Dog. You don't want to go for this all-in engage anymore because you're going to get poked a little bit too much. He went for the Dark Seal on tank top Chad as well. Not going for the Doran's rings, just saying, I feel like I'm going to get a lot of kills
He
this
doesn't
game.
go for the other build. He goes for the Chad build, all right?
I like it.
Yes.
I like it. Except now he's got to get the Rod of Ages if he wants to go for the true Chad build.
That is
Only Rod of Ages.
Only Rod of Ages.
Only Rod of
Okay,
Ages.
he's not Blitzcrank.
It doesn't matter. Everyone can only build Rod of Ages. That's just how League of Legends is.
I know,
Do
well,
not
okay,
know how to
so,
play this
so
game.
what is this on the screen I see here?
That's
These little
wrong.
swords.
It's wrong.
Are they Rod of
They're
Ages
wrong.
components?
That's what that is.
But you said they can't build any
No,
others?
they can't. It's illegal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's breaking laws.
Yes.
Because those are going to be some Doran blades coming out on the side of UTA. The Alpha Strike gets a nice bit of damage on down there. To press the attack, this is the issue though. Even though they got the first kill, doesn't give you a whole lot of money to work with, especially when it's a Master Yi just looking to be aggressive.
Well, this is what I expect.
Oh
He's going
my
for the win.
goodness, underneath the tower. That's going to force the flash and the shield coming out.
Yep, that's barrier
Barrier.
and Ignite gone
Yeah.
here for the mid lanes. Flash was used earlier by Tank Top Chad. Sea-Dog knew that, so he did decide to go for that early aggression.
And that was out without Sea-Dog actually needing to blow his own flash to
Yep.
get that.
Well, see, this is exactly what I said about the nature of this matchup. Master Yi into the victor. You pick this just because you want to go for the early level 2
Life
cheese.
is so short. He doesn't have level 2. Maybe he was expecting to have the hyper procs. Doesn't even blow his flash. UNT pick up a second kill and a 1,000 gold lead at 2.5 minutes.
And that is terrible news there for Gnar, because the fact that he's already one death down and only 2 minutes into the game here, Gnar needs that early game pressure to really start scaling up and getting those items. But as you said, Jace is the bully in this situation, so he already has the advantage.
Now, turning our attention back, I want to kind of focus on these jungles a little bit, because here comes Lern.
Speaking of jungles, Elf for Lern, gonna get the pillar on down. The flash was already blown by
One more.
Sea-Dog. Flash on forward. The Trundle brings down the club on the Yi.
And this is what I want to see coming out of Lern. He needs to make sure that he's punishing Sea-Dog, because he was pushed so far forward into Victor. I mentioned you have to get the level 2 cheese if you're a Master Yi into Victor. The fact you weren't able to solidify the kill and Victor was able to get safe to the tower means that you're now in a frozen lane that Victor will hold until Trundle can show up.
So now the gold lead expands. 1,500, 3 kills. It's a kill a minute so far this game. The pace, though, not going in favor of UTA.
And I'm not liking the way that Antenso's jungling right now. We were talking about how Udyr actually has a very strong early game with the bear stance and tiger stance if he's able to get some damage and possibly counter jungle against Trundle. But as you mentioned, Elfer Lern is actually playing the style that Tenzo should be doing. Here in the bottom lane, though, a little bit more tame, not as much cheese. Sure, you have the Anivia sitting there on that back end, but they will need a third member to really create some pressure.
And you really do want to see Tenzo going somewhere. There's a lot of flashes have been blown from many members on UNT, and this is when Udyr can actually punish.
Well, you see the aggression coming out from N3O on the Jace. Not going to find it, though, as that is just a Gnar. Oh, no, here he comes
No
again.
flash.
He blocks off the path of escape. Top Chad is looking for the stun. Not going to find it. And actually an Alpha Strike coming back in. What is he doing? Waldo down in bot lane. This is the power of that Nivea. Build the terrain and cut off the enemy players. And NCO wants to try and pick back a kill, but he's not going to find it.
Just couldn't get in a position where he was able to actually get on to Lern for being so low. And really, Sea-Dog, he had won that matchup. He got everyone to go underneath the tower, got them so low. He should have waited for Tenzo to be in a position to go for the re-engage.
And we got a little bit of a blink there, just a little bit of information on how this bottom lane is being played out. And it's actually being played out very properly here by the side of UTA. They have the Nivea wall being popped up behind Kaisa for Leeuwenhart, and it is allowing them to start landing some stuns, landing some harass very freely, while Braum needs that time to start and getting in front of his AD carry.
Well, so far, it's another kill, and Antenzio was looking for the invade. Gets caught off, though, on his route, has to back off, looking to try and steal away some Krugs, and instead of helping out his lanes, he's just helping to himself.
Really, when you're on this Udyr, you need to be a little bit more respectful to him.
Ooh, top tank Chaz, the barrier is just up in time. Along with that flash, we'll get him to safety. The Ignite burned by Sea-Dog.
Yep. Right now, I feel like if Tenzo, as you said, is kind of helping himself at the moment, the rest of his team needs to start getting some vision around that bottom side of the map. If the jungle can't do anything, like right now...
His Trundle is
my goodness.
everywhere. He's
It is.
trolling them.
Yeah, and Tenzo, the fact that he's not being able to do anything about it, I feel like he just needs to actually start focusing on getting himself farmed up, get those items under his belt, and possibly just start soloing Dragon. Get that Mountain Drake. Start stealing away neutral objectives that this pressure from UNT could possibly get later on.
So Sea-Dog was looking for an invade onto Lern to try to see if they can take away the Krugs again, try to see if he can help out. But the fact that you need this Master Yi to now go into the jungle for you, if you're Tenzo, kind of shows the indication of how these jungle matchups are going, where Udyr isn't able to actually fight Lern at all. Even though you'd think would go for the Udyr early into the game, then mid-game would be Trundle, late game goes back to Udyr. It's more just been that Tenzo hasn't been in a position to truly help out because Lern has been running him around the map.
Well, Trad just looking to farm up. We haven't talked a lot about this bot lane so far. It's been rather quiet. The Anivia pick has been able to cut off UNT a couple times, but no kills have transpired. But here we go, Antenzio comes into the mid lane. That's what he needs to do. Press the attack, tick it away. Z-Dog gets himself the kill. The Chaos Storm is not going to be enough.
Just a little bit too close to the turret as well. I almost think that Chad could have turned that around had he not gone into the aggro range of the turret, just because how much damage the Chaos Storm does in these early stages of the game. The fact that we already saw the meditate from C-Dog, so he couldn't mitigate a lot of the damage.
Yeah, it was very possible, but I don't think it was very likely. The chase coming in from C-Dog's Yi and Tenso Zudir would have definitely spelled death for him. Nonetheless, it is a plus, though, for him that the fact that it went over to Tenso Zudir, so the shutdown gold, or more of just the comeback gold for the side of C-Dog, isn't going to be there.
And maybe that gives him enough confidence to start working on these neutral objectives like we talked about earlier. You have a Mountain Drake that's been sitting on the map now for a couple minutes. Might be a point where they want to try and contest, because they have this bot lane that could easily follow up and actually provide him support if a fight were to break out.
Another thing we actually haven't really been discussing is the way that the composition of damage output is being brought in from UTA. You have literally four physical damage users that are going to be those carries, and then the Anivia, which you think would be that magic damage, isn't going to be getting any gold funneled towards her, so that is a lack of sort of versatility in their offensive front. So for right now, you have two tanks that can really build defense.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is there's really no true tank on the side of UTA either. You have Gnar and maybe Udyr, who are going to act as your tanks, but really, they're going to be more of those bruisers. So if you're UNT, you just have Trundle, Braum sit in front of you, and because they're bruisers, they're not going to be able to cut through the resistances that a Trundle and Braum can build up.
Now some pressure coming on down, but there is a teleport coming in from behind. That's going to be the Jace from top lane, and Kaisa can just catch back up with the rest of the team. He can't stop the dash with just wall. The resurrection not going to be there in time. Lou picks up a kill.
Great play by UNT, realizing how far pushed up both Xayah and Anivia were, and it was just physical, saying, we're making the call. We might not have the fissure just yet, but we can easily pick off the members.
And guess what that means? Mountain Drake to the side of UNT. They'll be able to take this one down, and with the pressure that they're providing, it's really just going to mean first turn in the next couple of minutes.
And that window for Tenso on the Udyr is starting to close now that the objective was taken down. If he's not making appearances in lane, he isn't really doing anything other than farming himself.
All right, so right now, for UTA, they do have a lot of damage on this top lane tower. I honestly think that with both Nasugi and Udyr, their gameplay has to be onto that Rift Herald. They need to take that down, see if they can take down some of these turrets as well, because they're falling behind in gold. 2,500 over to the side of UNT. They need to make sure that they're making some proactive calls with the fact that they have people who can take down turrets so quickly.
And you can tell here, top tank realizing, hey, where's this Yi been for a long time? He must be getting vision somewhere on the map. Decides even to go into the enemy jungle. Doesn't actually put down a ward himself, but you can see there's uncertainty. This Master Yi is starting to get into his head a little.
Yeah, it definitely is. And looking at the vision right now for both sides, UTA actually has some wards there on the top side of the map for the camps of the jungle, so they can sort of kind of track where L4Learn is going to be if they look for a gank in top or mid side, but for the bottom end, they are almost completely blind.
And also for the side of UTA, while that does sound like it's a great thing, you're getting eyes on Learn. You're getting his momentum and where he's going to be on the map. The fact is, you're losing a lot of these lanes. You look topside, I mean, Jace is just pummeling Gnar. There's no real way that you can even see Life So Short fighting back into this matchup anytime soon, especially with the lethality. Probably going to go for the Youmuu's Ghostblade on to Etherno just to make sure that he can keep chasing down Life So Short. So it doesn't matter. You need to start winning some of these lanes, holding Victor into the mid lane, holding this bot lane down there so that they can actually go for some better plays.
And the gold is so evenly distributed here for the side of UNT. They have almost a 3,000 gold lead. It's very slowly encroaching upon that, and being with the kills spread out so evenly, everyone has at least an 1,000 gold advantage later on for the sense of Jace, Victor, and Kaisa.
Well, L4Learn, he went up to the top lane. The control ward did show that he was not in vision, but decides to just go on back to base, finish off his ninja tabbies now. So if he does meet this Udyr, he can punish him quite a bit.
Yep, very true. But the problem right now here that you see, once again, no neutral objectives outside of Rift Herald now is available, and UNT is slowed down a bit. They're just sort of waiting to gather their strength once again and look to force one lane and crack that tier turret open.
Well, for me, UTA positioning in the bottom side of the map isn't the play I would have liked to have seen out of them. They tried getting some wards around the dragon that will be spawning up in about 2.5 minutes, instead of trying to go for the Rift Herald, where they needed to get that because they need to start getting onto these turrets. It's really hard for Master Yi and Udyr to siege into a victor.
And you can see Aethernio, he's realizing, hey, you know what, I've been pushing in my lane, let's try and make something happen elsewhere, even without having to burn his teleport. Blizzard coming down through into the bot lane, thanks to he's able to get himself a stun. That's really all this bot lane really wants, is just to find a stun and then get that burst down on the Kai'Sa. In mid lane, though, the press the attack coming through. They're just going to dive underneath the tower. No shields available this time, though, for the victor.
And the flash was just a little bit too late there. If he flashed just a little bit earlier, he could have gotten away from that Udyr stun. Unfortunately for him, does lose his life.
And now with his life being gone, they should be a play made topside, but they're looking into the ball lane.
Here comes the dive coming through. Elferlern, though, is going to get taken on down. Starad is just out of the range of the tower. It's not going to be enough. The flash on forward, a double kill for the Kai'Sa.
And I was going to say that they were going to try and bite off a little bit more than they were trying to chew there.
It was close.
For the side of UNT. Yeah, it was very close. But with the confidence of a 2-1-2 Trundle and a 3-0 Kai'Sa now, this turret's going to fall, and that's a lot of gold going into the AD carry's pockets.
And this is where I'm kind of questioning UTA, their decision-making, because they go for the play onto Victor. It's a great play, but wait, yeah.
But look at that. First brick gold was actually taken there by Sea-Dog. Literally frames, it seems, faster than UNT. That's nice to funnel some of that gold onto this Yi.
Honestly, I think it's a great thing that they managed to get that. It was very lucky that they were able to get that. But going back to what we were talking about, UNT, they made a good reaction call, already realizing that they had lost Chad in mid lane so they can go bot lane, get the kills under the dive to get the tower. That's why I almost expect to see UTA going for the Rift Herald. It does end up paying off for them. They got pretty lucky on that, the fact that it was just too little damage outside of this Ginzu's Rage Blade Kai'Sa.
And you can actually think that Tenso might be keeping pace with his opponent of Elferlern. He's 87 to 72 CS right now in that jungle, and it is helping him catch up in just a sense of gold value, but in a sense of overall worth to the team. He's level 10 to Elferlern's level 8.
Ooh.
So that actually could be immense here for the later minutes.
It's been a lot about that ganking potential coming in from Lern. He's been trying to help out these lanes so much that he's sacrificing that experience that Tenzo has been gathering for himself. Plus getting those kills onto Victor and then absorbing some of the minion experience himself, Tenzo has put himself in a very fine position to be able to fight in the Trundle.
But see, UNT, they've started to group around toward this top side of the map. They want to try and take down this tower and then rotate back to the Rift Herald. Sea-Dog, though, might get caught out in the jungle, but look at the damage that comes through this Yi. Sea-Dog, now he's turned on, gonna be able to dodge away. He gets away with this.
That was surprising.
Oh, no! Physical with the tip of the Fisher.
Just the tip was able to get it, so that way they could get the killer instinct from Kai'Sa to jump back in and get the kill. It almost looked like the best play out of Sea-Dog. Just tiny bit of that radius being able to get the hit.
That does got to give Sea-Dog some confidence, though. You were able to go toe-to-toe there with the Jace. They had the jump on you. Not the other way around. He actually had to react. He was down to half health before he even had a chance to react.
I almost have to put that up to a little bit of a misplay coming in from Aethernio, because he didn't go for the full burst potential with the poke before going for the engage on a Sea-Dog, thinking he had more damage than he really did.
And here we go, perfect timing with the dragon being spawned. Second Mountain Drake here going over to UNT, and they decide that it is actually a best value if they trade with this Rift Herald. He did try to steal it away there on that Jace. But trade for trade here, it now comes down to how much the side of UTA can really push out that Rift Herald. They need at least a turret for it.
They need to at least get a mid-turret for it.
Yes.
I think that's the more important thing. Getting a side lane turret is not that beneficial for them unless it's the bot lane, because there are two still sitting there, so you can get two of them, but you have to get both if you want to make that work.
Well, UNT gonna finally crack open this first tier tower in mid lane. 2 Mountain Drakes, so they take it down rather fast. They got themselves about a 2,500 gold lead, 4-9. UNT, it felt like they were starting to get a little bit out of control, but UTA have been able to find some picks here and there, find some gold back into their pockets, and they're keeping up.
Well, we talked about this in Champion Select. It's about the different types of style. You got the more macro sense coming out of UNT, where they try to play around the map, try to run UTA rapid, but UTA are playing completely different, having Master Yi, Udyr. You want to be fighting as much as possible. You want to cause chaos so that macro can't actually come down from UTA.
Tower going to be taken here pretty low by Sea-Dog. Blue is around, but he's down 3 levels. You do not want to be going toe-to-toe with a Yi that can just take you down. Sea-Dog, Gnar ultimate in top lane to follow up. UTA, it seems like they've woken up here.
And this is the perfect play coming in from the side of UTA. Even though they've been struggling in the chaos that UNT has been able to provide. Yep, there we are. There's the Rift Herald coming in. Hey, it's something at least. But nonetheless, I feel like UTA actually has to keep this skirmishy chaos going because of how their composition is.
Sea-Dog's just going to keep on moving down toward that bot lane. You see that tower gets taken down. This has been a huge swing of gold back into UTA's favor as they now take the lead.
I want to see them rotate mid right now, try to see if they can take that tier 2 as well, because they're going to be able to get the bot. They're going to get so many towers. How many is that? 3 turrets from this one play from UTA to massively shift the gold. Now they're in a 1,000 gold lead over UNT.
That was literally like 4,000 gold in a minute. That was just picked up by UTA. Can Sea-Dog go toe-to-toe here with N3O? Is able to dodge away from the strike. Oh, so close. But it ain't going to happen this time, Sea-Dog.
This time, N3O didn't make the mistake. He went for the poke first, then went for the all-in.
Yep, that's what you need to avoid for Master Yi, but unfortunately didn't use his meditate to reduce the damage there. Wasn't able to see the poke flying in. But now 6 kills to 10 here. And UNT really needs to start recovering this momentum that they were able to build up and has just been completely stolen away from underneath their feet.
Well, Tenzo might be just giving it to them as he comes around the corner blind. The Trundle caught out. Are you serious? How did the Udyr survive?
It was ticking too. They had the subjugate damage coming onto him that almost was able to get the kill as well. Beautiful play by his team to be able to kite back.
If only you had a smite onto that Udyr. That's just how close that was.
It was so close there. Another thing to bring up right now for Light is a Storm Razor here on to Starad Zaya. We'll see how that one works out. Again, it gives you 70 attack damage and 30% attack speed for, so it might be something of a beneficial for just
UNT
the skirmishes. Yep.
Look at this, UNT gonna try and collapse here onto Life is So Hard. Oh, that is a Winter's Bite you would love to have back.
But at the same time, you're getting rid of Gnar so you can be able to take this turret back. Now gonna shift the gold lead a little bit back into your pockets because you did lose some of that, but it's still 200 gold is how much separates these two teams at the moment.
And this is, I know, by our faces, this is not what you expected this game, guys, because after that draft, okay, Magical, I know they can't see your face right now, but you're giving me the most painstaking look of all time, which is like, are you...
The guy who said that go for the level 2 cheese on Master Yi into Victor to try to see if he can get the kill and get a flash. Didn't predict it, right?
Yeah, but then, your face did kind of diminish once the invade went sour.
Yeah, because the hope was kind of lost there because they lost a lot.
But they have found a new hope.
Exactly.
And that is what is key here. That's what's keeping them alive.
Yeah, and it's something that for me, for the side of UTA with the amount of cheese that they have, it's actually interesting watching this composition evolve into this later stage of the game. Sure, UNT had a little bit of a more slow, methodical mid-game phase, but at that moment, it also collapsed the map to be in a smaller amount of space, which allowed this skirmishy composition to find some more kills and get back into it.
Well, so far, Antenzio looking to run away. The ultimate's popped there by Lou. It's got 4 members on top of him, but meanwhile, in the other lane, Sea-Dog is able to solo out Tank Top Chad yet again.
Tank Top Chad shouldn't have been in that position. He wanted to see if he can shove out bot lane a little bit, but the fact that the tier 2 is down now gives Master Yi an inside track to try to see if he can do some damage onto the
Underneath the tower, though, beautiful Gnar ultimate's gonna scoop back the chase. And UTA find themselves another pick.
Yep. Baron is now live once again, and Dragon is going to be up in 50 seconds. The map pressure is in UTA's favor, and this could be a dead Tyson.
Is going to be the best one. It was all a bait, Sea-Dog.
Oh, that's tragic. If you lose Master Yi in the situation from that kind of picture, you got the tower in mid, so you're able to push up a little bit, get all the outer towers down for UNT. You could have actually have rotated for the Baron. You could have made a play around that instead. Losing Master Yi and not getting the inhibitor cracked open is going to be something that will pause the game a little bit and maybe get UNT back into the game.
Blue Heart going to go ahead, pick up the red buff for themselves. Alpha Learn looking to clear out Vision. Baron is alive, 21 minutes, 8 to 12. 1,000 gold lead in UTA's favor. You're starting to finish off a little bit more of your items. Tenzo Gonna be running down the river, gets stopped up there by the pillar. The rest of the team from UNT is coming down, but it's New Deer. You're not gonna catch him.
Yeah, this is gonna be the third Mountain Drake here for UNT, which is gonna be great if they actually win a team fight, or they can steal away a Baron, sneak it from underneath the noses of UTA. But when I took a little bit of time to look at the composition of UTA, it's actually starting to tell me of this awkward hybrid 1-3-1 composition. You have the Yi to split push, the Udyr or Gnar to be in that other side lane, and then you have that Xayah and Nivea just continuously shoving down mid.
However, one player we have kind of not seen too much into this matchup has been Etherno. He was able to 1v1 Seadog when getting the poke first. He can still go toe-to-toe with Master Yi. You put him into the side wave against Seadog, as long as he plays it right, gets the poke before going for the engage, he can shove out and utilize the 3 Mountain Drakes that UNT have picked up.
My only concern, though, is Enthrio actually probably wants to fight this Master Yi when there's no minions around, because if he's able to stack up that Rage Blade and Seadog has the flash to go in, you can guarantee they're going to go for it. Look at this engage, though, coming out from UNT. They just jump over the wall and cook that egg in style. Elverlearn will pick up the kill.
Yep, and that's the vulnerability of the 1-3-1 composition that they've been trying to do. Yep, this is going to be taken down very fast.
Here comes Antenzio, looking to come on over to the side. Baron is getting shredded apart, but look at the base. You have Seadog. This is the call. UTA says we're going to trade an inhibitor for the Baron. You're going to have to deal with it. Tenzo tries to just run directly in. It isn't going to happen. He gets taken on down. What can Seadog do? The rest of the team just going to back.
That's the thing. The base has now been cracked open of UNT. They lost the bot inhibitor tower and the inhibitor itself. So it's going to force UNT to now play around that side of the map. They cannot leave Seadog alone because he can take the base by himself.
Yeah, and it's something that it does come down to a couple of options. You either kill Seadog and make sure he's not on the map, or you go ahead and you try and force where Seadog is. He cannot fight in any scenario where it is in a disadvantage, even if it is just Etherno. But the fact for me now is that you look at the 5v5 composition that UNT is going to try and force with this 1-3-1 composition that UTA has, and I really don't know who's going to come out on top of it. It can be such a messy fight.
Oh, look at
Etherno.
this. Seadog, he's just around the corner. He pops the fork, and actually Seadog goes all bait. Oh, the ignite doesn't finish him off. So that was interesting. So I mentioned about Seadog. He may have the jump, but you got to stack up that Rage Blade if you want to go for that.
Yeah, and Leeuwenhard also had to use his heal to save the ignited Jace there from Etherno, but again, they decided to go ahead and force the lane that the Master Yi was in of Seadogs, and they will be able to take down these turrets exponentially fast.
But you can tell the play from UTA is trying to go on the top side.
Oh, Tenzo was a little bit off there with that auto attack. But what? Okay there, Life's So Short. That's grasping for it.
Yeah, life is short, but you don't need to be doing those kind of flashes.
But right now, UTA have actually put themselves in the position to get a second inhibitor, so UNT have to be fast about taking down these inhibitor towers.
Let's see, can Enthro actually hold this? It looks like it's enough to actually force the 2 members of UTA back to try and recall and defend this base.
Yep. Wave clear is there with the Anivia to help slow it down, though she will be struggling with clearing it. She needs the help from the Xayah and Seadog's Master Yi to efficiently take those ones down, but hopefully Life's So Short is able to get away from this
Look at the flank coming in.
Oh, Luz jumping on over. Prey Seeker's gonna land, and now the rest of the team is coming on over. He gets knocked back awkwardly. Physical will pick up the kill.
That was a beautiful knockback by Etherno to the Nai, the Mega Gnar that could have easily turned that fight around because there was Tenzo on the flank had they wanted to go for the option of fighting. But honestly, he needed to get out. Keep as many members alive as possible for UTA. Maybe even just throw a Seadog top side of the map to take down that inhibitor because he can get it really quick. But I feel like they want to make the play to try to see if they can get the Nexus Towers instead.
Oh, we see that teleport from Jace. He's going to cut off Seadog.
Seadog gonna pop a Highlander to try and get away. Ends up walking back. Actually gonna just go for it. Maybe not the play he wanted to make. There was support coming up from the Xayah, but not enough.
The one member I mentioned that Seadog can't fight is Etherno. He was sitting 3-3-3 before any of these skirmishes came up, but the fact that he's that much more powerful than this Master Yi at the moment kind of indicates why I wanted to see the Jace and Master Yi fighting, because Jace should win out at least until we get one more item completed by Seadog.
Gonna go ahead, back off, 8 to 17. The kills have kind of spiked in UNT's favor, but it's only still less than a 3,000 gold lead. Those Mountain Drakes, though, were able to help them do work, took down these towers rather fast, took the Baron, have opened up a little bit of the map, but they still haven't cracked the base of UTA.
Yeah, they are still struggling to take those ones down due to the fact that Sea-Dog is providing so much pressure in these side lanes. Not going to take any credit away from the other players as well. Life's So Short, he's been doing phenomenal as well. Sure, he's only gone 1-2-1. It feels like he's just been completely worthless in this game, always being muffled down, but only having 2 deaths in this game for himself is actually doing fairly well.
Especially into the Jace matchup. The hard counter to Gnar is Jace, and the fact that you only died twice, and those were both in lane that he died to that. Well, we had the one kill just now where with the gank coming around, but he didn't die very much to Jace. He held the line as much as possible and is still a viable split push threat if he can start getting some of these items like that Black Cleaver he's passing towards.
Well, look at this. You do see team looking to rotate. The Gnar has teleported up to the side lane, so that's going to be 1 teleport down for UTA. They're actually their only teleport, so maybe not the best decision. Could have probably walked up to that lane. It looks like they're just trying to force that into the inhibitor.
Now, maybe UNT is going to try and decide to forfeit this dragon to see if they'll sneak it away. It's only a Cloud Drake. Nothing really matters for them at that moment in time, so they're going to be looking for this pinch onto UTA.
Oh, Tankster has to be a bit careful there. You can see the damage that came on through, forcing the flash. Tenso wants to go for a fight. This is a choke point. This is not where you want to fight if you're on the side of UTA. And they take down the Gnar.
But look at bot lane. Sea-Dog was left completely alone. He's going to be able to reopen that inhibitor. He might be over the Nexus towers.
The rest of the team's coming up there, Sea-Dog, but you can see the damage. He's got the blade stacks, but he's going to get knocked on back. Wants to keep on going. Does not have a QSS, though, to get rid of the stun.
That's a big thing, the fact that he was able to reopen that inhibitor, so it keeps putting the pressure onto UNT. Despite the fact that these fights have been going UNT's way, they haven't been able to push outside of their base too often.
Yeah, and just a reminder, Nexus turrets and inhibitor turrets, they only regenerate to the upper third of whichever sort of health bar they're at. So he was able to chunk it down to half health, so it's only going to get to 66% of its life maximum for it to regenerate, so it is now permanently wounded.
Now, I almost wish that Sea-Dog had teleport in this matchup just so that he can keep putting the pressure. He dives, teleport right back into that lane, try to get these Nexus towers down because he takes them that quick.
Yeah, it's a little weird. You look at the scoreline, 4-8, and you say, man, that's my typical solo QE, just trading kills and dying. But he's pretty much the whole reason UTA actually has any map pressure at this point. The inhibitors down yet again. UNT are going to have to deal with that. Baron is on the table in 30 seconds.
That's just the nature of the split push, where you put that kind of pressure onto UNT so they can't actually make these plays unless they get 2 or 3 kills.
Yep, and 20 seconds again, as Opal mentioned here, for the Baron to be spawning. And this is a very important Baron here for UTA. They need to have this vision dominance and be able to pick this one up, because if this Baron goes down and they just surrender it, I don't think that the side of UNT will have any problem with dealing with E.
The thing, though, for UNT that they do have is this Kai'Sa. Look at this, 7-1 and 5. This has kind of gone underneath the radar. Liu can put on quite a carry performance now that he has the Runeans, has that Rage Blade, has the Essence Reaver, even going for a defensive item like that, just looking to be able to survive.
So right now, we have to just look at the 4v4 matchup between UTA and UNT, because Etherno has to stay in this bot lane. He has to be the answer to Sea-Dog, so you have to think, can UTA fight without Master Yi? And it's a very hard matchup. They pretty much have been relying on Sea-Dog to kind of get them through this game, and Tenzo gets kited too easily.
I feel like it is actually a definite yes that UTA could potentially fight with only 4 members, because they could just continue to backstep, but Sea-Dog might get caught out.
Alpha learned the rest of the team. A huge stun comes out. Sea-Dog trades his kill, but look from the flank side. This is it. Without that Master Yi, where is your damage? Xayah kiting on back. You saw the auto attack come out from the Victor, and hence he walks back into the Chaos Storm. Oh no, UTA Have you finally overstepped your bounds? A double kill for the mid lane.
This should be Baron, instantly picked up by UNT. That's going to be the second Baron, so it's going to be an incredibly strong one.
But
and they should
look
be able to
at
push
the
down
Nexus
mid. This is
towers.
right. There could be a TP. Wait, they don't have the Gnar, and he doesn't have TP. They have to
Look
bring
at
aside
Udyr.
Tensio. Go run straight for it, but it's
They're
going to
gonna
be
see
the
him.
answer from Etherno.
They do see him walking by the ward, decides against it. Can they actually clear out that Baron? It will go down. UNT, they secure themselves another Baron, but they lost one Nexus tower.
Yeah, you could see the hunger in UTA's eyes, trying to look for that quick, sneaky back door. Luckily, UNT were keeping their own vision on that bottom end. We're able to get Jace into that bottom side, and I don't think they only lost that one Nexus turret. So currently, that was the best they could probably do to bandage that wound.
Plus, they also have Etherno with a Guardian's Angel, so he's not going to be he's really not going to be scared of Sea Dog. He wants to actually fight him even more, despite the fact that you have the Death Dance and the Blade of the Ruin King that were picked up by Sea Dog. So he can really punish this Master Yi for going into these fights and stop any sort of split push.
Yeah, I'd like to maybe see just a little bit more lifesteal from Sea Dog, because in these 1v1s, he keeps just getting bursted on down. If he's able to survive the initial burst with that Death Stance, could allow him to maybe find that 1v1 against the Jace.
I'm not sure lifesteal is going to be the answer, because you can already see Tank Top Chad is going to be running for that Morellonomicon very soon. I feel like something a little bit more beefy.
Oh, okay. Etherno is actually pretty scared of the Yi. Sea Dog has turned it on, pops the GA, and just like that, we talk about, man, Sea Dog might have some. Oh, he gets the lifesteal back. The Ignite was taken.
This is going to be a base race.
Going to be a base race. The Gnar is up in top lane. Is this it? Does UNT commit to this? Are they just going to go for the end of the game? Backdoor is coming up.
Look at Master Yi,
Look
Udyr.
at this. You got the Udyr. You have a Master Yi. UNT, they're desperate. They're on to the towers. The Mountain Drake is huge at this point. They're on to the Nexus towers. They're on to the Nexus.
It's going to be over.
They need to find the answer. It goes to UNT.
UNT picking up the base race into the Master Yi
my
Udyr
goodness.
just because the minions weren't there to help them finish that game.
I